Bose have just announced the Generation 2 of the Quiet Comfort Ultra headphones, and in this video I want to share the things that I like and things I don't like about the current generation, in the hope that it can help you make a decision on whether to go for the current generation or stick around for a couple of weeks and pre-order the new generation. This year I've been fortunate enough to try quite a few headphones. I've started off this year with the XM4s. I bought the XM5, I've returned it, and I currently daily drive the Sennheiser M4, and I've also got myself the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra. Hang on a minute, let me just read that. That is Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra headphones. Why can't the manufacturers actually give a name to these devices that we could remember? Sony and Bose, please take a note, just call it something that we could remember and give it an iterations like 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be so much easier. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video, and let me first start off with the stuff that I like. So from the get-go, the box is really colorful, the packaging is really nice, and the entire headphone fits inside this tiny case. Well, compared to the Momentum M4's case, the Bose case can actually hide behind it. That's a testament to how small things can fit. And one of the main reasons why this can fit in a small carry-on case is the fact that these headphones can fold. And this gives it a better competitive advantage against its rivals such as the M4 and the Sony M5. Not the M6, because the M6 have come out recently. So when we're looking at the previous generations, the Momentum 4 and the XM5s don't really fold, and these fold. And that is a really, really good thing to have. Especially, it doesn't take up a lot of room when you're carrying the headphones. And if you want to just place it on the table, you don't really need a bigger table. It folds up nicely and curls it into a tiny, tiny box, right? And when you open it, you see it can actually stretch really wide. So if I put this on my head, it stretches up really wide, really good quality. At the top, you've got the plastic and you've got the leather at the bottom, like it's sort of a fake leather. The ear cups are good. But most importantly, I really like the fact that it's got the branding on the side, and then the buttons, and then sort of the tactile buttons on the side, it's well hidden. Let's take a look at the M4s here. So you see the Momentum M4 doesn't really have any branding, and all you can see is the fingerprints. But the Bose has the qualities. When you're spending a lot of money, you really want the branding to stand out. And it's lightweight, it feels premium, it's lightweight, it can extend, what more do you want? And when it sits in your ear, there's actually room from your ear cups to the sort of the end of the cans, which makes it really good, and it helps the noise cancellation. So I really love the design. I really love the dual tone of it. So that's really well presented, and it's actually screams premium, and it's worth the money that you spent. The second thing I really like is the noise cancellation. So the minute I put this on, it shuts all of the sound, and it does it so elegantly and automatically every single time. Since I've started dailying this, it has started to impress me more and more when, let's say, for example, if I put my Sennheisers in, you see the Sennheisers, the noise cancellation kicks in, but it's not as good as the Bose. The Bose one actually feels like you have noise cancellation turned on. The Sennheisers or the Sonys that I've tried, it sort of feels like you're cupping your ears, because, is it quiet because you covered your ears off, or is it quiet because of the anti-noise cancellation? And you can use the app to set different focus modes to change the noise cancellation you want, but just leave it by default. It does the job, and it does it time and time again. And that is a great thing about these headphones. And the third thing is the sound. So when I initially tried this on, I wasn't really impressed with the sound, mainly because my Momentum 4, I think, is easily one of the best headphones that I've tried, and it's definitely better than the Sony XM5s. So I was directly comparing this against the Momentum 4, and I didn't really like it. But after a while, I've started to realize these actually have a better soundstage than Momentum M4's Anyway, these have a better soundstage than Momentum. The sound is really smooth, crisp, and at 50% volume is more than enough for you to, get yourself lost in the music. It helps you to focus, And if you want more volume, it sticks through. And the bass on these are really good. Sometimes I listen to the songs that have bass and it tickles the side of my ears. That's really good. The momentums are really good when it comes to bass. The momentum actually feels like it's dancing in my ears. That's actually also a really good thing. But this gave me another type of sensation where it was tickling on the side of my ear. And the fourth thing I'm really impressed about is the app. The Bose app is so clean. The UI is so good. Sony and Sennheiser need to actually copy the way how they done these apps. The app isn't clunky. The UI is easy to navigate. You know where the EQ settings are. You know where the immersion settings are. And you also know how to create focus and stuff like that. And the way how they built it, it actually eases you in. If you want to change the equalizer, yes, you can do that. Just hit the equalizer option, move the bass, move the mid, move the treble, and then the music changes all the time. And the fact that it's set inside the app, it's so much easier because you don't have to go into your phone to change the device. The headphone has its own equalizer, so you don't need to set it at an app level, and that's super fantastic. In fact, that's one of the reasons I've started, dailying this, because the app was just so easy to use over the competitors, hands down. One thing I would say that is not really an outstanding feature or not really sort of a bad implementation is the immersive audio feature. So that is, let's say, it's almost similar to the sort of Dolby Atmos. So this is their take on Dolby Atmos. So you can turn them on and off. The app actually has the functions to go between different modes. So you have the off, you have the still, and you have the motion. I mean, I've found having the immersion mode better, slightly better. You can turn them off. Again, with all the EQ settings and different modes, immersion mode might matter to some, might not matter to others. But depending on the mode you are on, you might not be able to sort of play around with the noise cancellation and stuff like that. But yeah, like if you're really into sort of Dolby Atmos and you really want a headphone that can pass the Dolby Atmos, these will still sound good, but they've got something called immersive audio. So please be aware of that. Right. Now let's talk about the things that I don't like. So let's get the elephant out of the room. So the one thing I really don't like the fact is the price, right? So you know that the new Generation 2 has been announced and the rumored prices are $450 or pounds, whatever it is in your country. This one currently retails at $350 and I've managed to get this around $300, right? And with a couple of weeks to go, the price is still heavy on these things. And whilst I said the sound is really good, the noise cancellation is good, sound is subjective, and it's subjective depending on what you want to do and how loud you want to listen to this and what your type of music is or what you're trying to sort of focus on. And all the other headphones in the market can actually, match up to this 90% of the time. So the other 10% is where you're paying a lot of money. And do I think it's worth that much? Not necessarily. So price-wise, this is definitely a proper turn off for me. One other thing I really found it strange is the fact that whilst this is really good with music, I mean, it did, like I said earlier, it took me a while to start liking this with the sound profile, and then it definitely grew on me, and I think it goes head to head with the Momentum 4s. But one of the things I didn't really like is the fact that the phone calls on this sounds really bad. I mean, the phone call sounds like the person's actually, it's like you've got noise cancellation on and you're listening to somebody else speaking, and then you're in between sort of half noise cancellation and half transparency mode. That's how it sounds like when someone calls you. And you can connect these headphones to multiple devices. So one of the great things about the app that I mentioned earlier was that it's very clean and you can connect multiple devices. But it seems like you need to use the app for every single device that you connect to it. If not, the sound state changes. So while talking about the phone calls, if I'm listening to music on my phone, that's really great. But then if I have a video call that I need to answer on my laptop and then I accept the call, all of a sudden the sound state changes and the volume completely lowers to, let's say it goes from 100% to like 30%. It sounds that quiet. And no matter what I change in terms of I'll change the volume on the laptop or I'll change the volume on the mobile app, it doesn't seem to impact this. So it makes me think that for the phone calls overall, these aren't really good phones. So if you are looking to actually buy something to be on the move, but you'd be answering a lot of phone calls, these aren't the headphones. And then also, just on the app, is that if you need to download the app on every single device that you use, please check the compatibility of the app. On my work laptop, I actually can't get new apps downloaded. So when I switch from sort of my phone to my work laptop, it's really difficult. The sound changes and it makes me miss my other headphones that I have. One other thing I really found annoying was the fact that the battery life on these are really poor. Like as I was playing, maybe because I'm testing this and I'm switching modes and I'm changing the focus zones and I'm playing around with the noise cancellations, for the price that you're paying, you might as well go with the Momentum M4s if battery is a concern for you. But overall, like it will last you 24 hours. That's more than enough for most people. And just leave it plugged in. It takes a USB-C charging. It's going to easily last you 2 to 3 days. But when you're reviewing it, when you're trying to stress test it, it isn't going to last. Some other things that this headphone can do is that this is actually better than the Momentum M4 in terms of detecting when they come off. It can turn off by itself. Even then, the battery wasn't really there. So this headphone is smart enough to sort of detect when you're listening to it, and it should be turning the music off. But so if it is turning it off, I'm really surprised why the battery isn't as lasting as long as it's advertised. Probably stress tested for maybe 15 hours and it died. But maybe the battery optimizes itself, I don't know. And one other thing I would like to say is, even though look, it stretches this much, if I put it around the corner, this is a very tight fit. Like I can turn it, this doesn't turn as much, so it goes. If you're wearing hooded shirt like this, the fitting here, depending on how big your neck is, might feel really cramped up. So Sennheiser Momentum actually can widen up and sit here, but the Bose one, it widen. I mean, you can push it, but most of the time it feels really tight unless you widen it up and put it in like that. So make it of what you will. Overall, these are fantastic headphones. Lightweight, beautiful design. The implementation of modes and the buttons and the branding is absolutely fantastic. The headphones has grown in on me. It can fit my head really good. The soundstage is fantastic. The app is clean. I know what I'm doing with it. But because of the battery issues, because of the low quality issues, I'm finding it very hard to sort of recommend this, especially on the phone call as well, where if you're in a noisy area, the noise cancellation kicks in and makes it feel like fantastic. But the minute you get a call, all people could hear is the outside world. Especially on a packed trains, people can just hear the announcement and everything. And people that have called me could not hear me, and I couldn't hear them too. So that's really, really bad, and it doesn't really justify the price, mainly because all the other headphones in this market are much cheaper than this at this point right now, and the next one has been announced, and the price alone really makes it really difficult for me to recommend. Unless you're a Bose fan and you understand what Bose stands for and price isn't a thing for you, I would not recommend this. And I suggest you look at the Sennheiser M4s or Sony's, unfortunately. If you like what I said, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Till I see you in the next one. Take care.